Alright, it's been a long time since I posted an update on this. Actually, I've never posted an update on this. I've just posted the intro to it. I'm coming back here to plug in my watering pump so I can water plants while I talk to you guys and show you how the greenhouse is doing. Alright, so it's been going. Minor problems. One problem is this, obviously. This was foreseen. This is why I run RODI. This is after about 6 months of humidity hitting the glass panel, or the plexiglass panel, and it's mostly just right here. It will get other panels. A lot of this is just probably dust or haze from the last time that I cleaned it. But the way that I clean these is I use vinegar. I'll just get some vinegar, wipe it on here, let it sit for maybe 30 seconds, and then spray it off with water and wipe it down, and it comes good as new, just like over here. But anywho, greenhouse, it's doing great. Never leaked on me. The floors held up great, even with just caulk and the sealant. It's not really sealant though. It's I actually can't remember what it's called. I talked about it in my last video, but it's really done very good. Not a whole lot of water sits here. Most of what you're seeing here is from me spilling water, or from the fading from the light, or from me walking through here constantly. I do come in here quite a bit, but it's really done pretty good. These trays do pretty good. I haven't cleaned these one time, and it's nice because you can let it dry out, and the stuff that grows in here will do this, and then you can just kind of vacuum it out with a shop vac. I haven't done it yet, but I'm assuming that's how it'll go. But let me show you the plants. So, wow, look at that guy go. I haven't seen any of your progress in a while. I've been so busy, I just haven't had time to check this stuff out, honestly. I don't even remember the name of that ping, but it's a great plant. This sucker is a killer. I scored this on eBay. I fully intend to make some cuttings of it and spread it around because I don't see this cross very much, and I honestly cannot remember it off the top of my head. This was in a significantly smaller pot, 2-3 months ago. It was in something closer to that size, and I ended up putting it in this. This is like a 3-gallon pot. This is like a 1 or a 1.5 gallon pot, but this is what I call my OG original Sanguinea. I've had this plant forever, and it just keeps going. You can't hardly see the end, and it's just like every couple weeks I've got a new pitcher in here, and it holds on to pitchers forever. I mean, these pitchers, this pitcher, I don't even know how old these are. I think they've been in here most of the year, really. Wow, that's new. I haven't seen this pitcher. I love this greenhouse. Every time I come in here, it's something new. But I'll walk you through all of the plants. I don't have as many in here as I thought I was going to get. I fully intend still to put a shelf on the back here and probably on the front here, but maybe a short one for smaller plants. The cats are obsessed with this whenever I come in here for some reason. So, Sanguinea, it's throwing out one or two basil. Two basils. I see two. There's one. This actually threw out a basil originally that I pulled because I didn't really... Ooh, that needs water. It's been a little while. It's been a busy couple months. That's why I haven't posted an update. But I pulled this originally because I didn't want this to get super bushy, and it had other plans. You can see it's growing some back off of this stem too, so it's a great plant. The thing, it loves being tied up like this. It's been killing it ever since. This is my Rob Cantley eye. I've had this for years. almost 5 years now. It started out about the size of this truncata right here. And I mean, it is just a monster now. And I keep pulling these darn weeds out of here, and they just keep coming right back. But yeah, there's the Rob Cantley. It's got a new pitcher every other month. It's trying to grow one back here right now. Man, look at that leaf jump. That is wild. The redding on the leaves is from a previous fungal growth. Basically, the misting system, honestly, I don't even run it anymore. I needed to hook it back up and make it run once a day, but I was having it go off like every 15 minutes for a couple seconds, and it was just too much for this guy. Really, this is the only one that really got mad, but one of my favorite plants at the time, so I made the calls that I had to make, and it's been a lot happier. But you can tell it bounced back pretty quick. The next leaf it threw out good and clean, and then look at the leaf size jump. I mean, that pitcher, if this pitcher here, which is every bit of 7 inches tall, 8 inches tall, came from this little tiny leaf, can you imagine what this leaf is going to do? It's going to be awesome. Let's see. This is my truncata. I've had it for a year or two, year and a half, I think, and it's really starting to take off. It was struggling for a while. I've learned that these guys like to have way bigger pots than most plants do, but it's starting to kill it. This is a hamata that I picked up earlier this year. It took quite a while to bounce back. All of the leaves that are present on it now, it has thrown out in the last 6 to 9 months, which impresses the heck out of me. All the pictures you see are since I've gotten it too. I mean, this thing really does grow quite quickly in here. Everybody says it's going to be too bright in here, too bright in here. It's too bright for hamatas. They like the shade. And yeah, I mean, you see the discoloration on some of the older leaves, but this thing is really starting to liven up. It's got a new pitcher coming out here. It's doing good. Yeah, that's a pretty new plant. This is my favorite currently. This is my Hamata Edwardsiana. Scored this off eBay, and it is just gorgeous. I mean, it really is just a monster of a plant. This was the first pitcher that it threw out for me since I got it. I got this at the same exact time that I got this. That was about 6-7 months ago, and you know, the pitchers first, when they open up, they're pretty light red, and this is actually pretty dark by comparison, and pretty quickly they get, I mean, very dark purple, almost black. It is super cool. I love this plant. It's back at the back because I want it protected, but I mean, this plant is just absolutely my favorite. I have always wanted one of these. I need to get a purebred Edwardsiana, but I really love this plant. Whoever sold it to me sold it in a soil that drains a little more than I'd like, and it was suffering at first a lot. So I stacked a bunch of sphagnum in, and you can actually see it's still trying to throw roots out higher than I'd like, but I shoved a bunch of sphagnum all around the base of the plant on top of the last guy's soil because it was throwing roots out up above the soil that it was in, I guess because it was looking for better soil, and it was just starting to really suffer, and it's been killing it. The weird thing is, it like grows in spurts. It throws out these leaves, and they're really big, beautiful leaves. The tendrils sit there and do nothing for a while, and then it just pops out pitchers, and while it's popping out the pitchers, the leaves that it's producing in the meantime are lacking heavily. Fogging system's turning on. It'll run for a minute and shut off, but I'll show you that real quick. Fan in, humidity out, works great. I could show you video logs sometime, but it works pretty great. So, as much as I'd hate to do it, I really would hate to mess this guy up, but I think that this plant could just grow like a weed like this one does. I potted this one up myself because I knew what kind of soil I wanted it in, but I think I'm going to repot this plant here pretty soon, even though it's in a monster pot for what it is. I I don't know. I might wait till spring next year. It's December now, early December, so I might wait till spring, let it get a little more established and, you know, get used to its behavior. But if it keeps doing this stuff consistently, I'm going to have to repot it. Part of it, too, is, you know, this plant doesn't get wet. It stays nice and dry. I've got it in a little bit too bright of light. This plant is so much more sensitive to light than the Hamata is. It is just crazy. Let's see. Let's look at some of the crosses. So this is an offspring from a Hamata ventricosa. And believe it or not, I got its mother plant the same place and time that I got this plant when I was visiting Texas. And this is the mother plant all overgrown with this weird grassy stuff that likes to grow in my pots for some reason. But it was just growing long and lanky and it wasn't doing anything. I put it in better soil. It started really taking off, but no pictures. So I cut it and I made 1, 2, ooh, that's starting to grow a growth point. And there's the third one laying around in here somewhere. I'm sure you guys see it and I don't, but there is in fact a third one sitting here somewhere. Gosh, I can't believe I can't find it. It's in here somewhere. But there's 3 of these and they have started to root. You can see little roots. Come on, camera. You can see the little roots, that little black line right there starting to grow. So I know it's starting to take off and I'm excited to see that turn into what a ventricosa can do, but with something more like this. I mean, the pictures that it can produce are just killer. Super cool. Good shape to them too. Okay. This is a Hamata Galabrata tenuis. Yeah. I got this, honestly, because I liked the advertisement photos. I didn't realize how much of a Galabrata it took after. It's a really small plant. I have a terrarium at my work. I've been planning to take this into work and have it in my work terrarium because it'll probably do better there than it does here, but it still does pretty darn good. It just grows in spurts. Everything's super dry right now. I'll water here as we're talking. But anywho, so this is they call it a Briggsana. Basically, it's a Nepenthes lowi times ventricosa, or maybe it's the other way around, ventricosa times lowi. And the technical name for it is ventricosa lowi or lowi ventricosa, whichever order it is. I can't remember. There's the BE number if you want, 3641. Actual Briggsana is the original hybrid created by Peter D'Amato, based out of California, who owns California Carnivorous. I've loved this hybrid ever since I learned about it in the Savage Garden when I first got into these plants. And I mean, you can tell this camera does pretty good justice of how red and striped that lip is. And that is the first picture that it has thrown out for me since I got it. And it is gorgeous. I mean, it is a beautiful plant. I got it from a guy overseas who apparently could ship to me legally. I didn't know it was coming from overseas until I received the box and saw the address. But the plant really was... He was, for some reason, growing it in lowland conditions in a terrarium, and when it came here, it suffered for a while, and that's doing a bit better. This is my... Oh, gosh. I just got this year, too, and I can't... I want to say it's a tenuis. Or is it an ovata? No, not an ovata. It's a... Gosh darn. Everybody's going to be like, how do you not know what that is? I want to say it's a tenuis, but it would seem that my moss has, when it was growing, when the misting system was running, took over the tags, so I'll have to get a new name on it. Names are hard for me, guys. It's a concussion thing, but yeah, that's a beautiful plant too, and it is prolific with pitchers, and I have to watch where they go because these darn tendrils grow so long. Like, why are you taking up your neighbor's space, bro? And I'll flood all these plants a couple times, try to get everything good and wet. I usually keep this stuff pretty well watered in here, but every now and then I just get busy and I don't have time to water, and it's kind of good to let these plants dry out a little bit every now and then. Helps prevent fungal growth and root rot and whatnot, especially since I keep it, above 75-80% humidity in here at all times. At nighttime, it's like a cloud forest in here because I run the system so much. This is very distracting to water while I'm talking about the plants. We'll keep moving through. This is a Robcantlii times Ovata. Super promising. It's got tons of Robcantlii characteristics, and Ovata has huge pitchers. I mean, Ovata will produce absolutely monster pitchers, and so will Robcantlii, just with a really cool shape. So that's very promising hybrid I'm looking forward to. This is Ultricularia alpina. It's doing very good. It's bloomed on me twice. This is a dormant Drosera longifolia. It'll come back. This I took to work. It started to die on me, so I brought it here, and now it's just a beautiful plant. Spathulata Benak Victoria AU. It's crazy how many different variations there are of some of these Drosera, but I mean, it is just doing so good now. This is a Cephalotus coal mine beech, they call it. I got it as a tissue culture plant, and most of it died off except for this guy, so apparently this is the correct way to grow these. And everything that you see here, it has done since I potted it up in this, and I'm interested to see what these end up doing. We'll see. Seems to grow more than the adults do. This is just longifolia, Ultricularia longifolia. Probably trying to take over other pots somewhere. Yeah, there it is, growing out the bottom of the pot. You all know what this is. This is Heliamphora minor offshoot. Mother plants over here. This is a Nepenthes lowy seedling that I got locally, believe it or not. Pretty excited about that. Tag has faded, but I got pictures of it. Robcantlii Aristiolides spictoblis has not done much for me. I need to put it in a better pot. It's got to be the pot, so that's coming too. Can't even remember this cross. I know it's Aristiolides with 2 or 3 other plants in it. I can't remember, but I mean, just look at it. Just look at that. That is so awesome. It is such a great picture, and it is prolific with pictures. I mean, look, it's hiding one back down in here, and it is just continuing to go. I got this from eBay too, and when this was shipped to me, it was completely bare root, wrapped in dry newspaper, not even in a Ziploc bag, and it was dead when I got it. Everything you see it has done since I got it this year in like March or April, so just shows how prolific these plants can be in the correct conditions like this greenhouse can give. I almost skipped this guy. Heliamphora Newton Giant. It was divided by a friend, a local friend, 8/6 of 23, August. Okay, it's December. It has already produced this picture, this picture, this picture, and this picture back here since I got it. And look at that. Is that what I think that is? No, that's another picture. I forgot that the Newtons like to do that, where they produce standing pictures. So that'll be pretty cool to see what that does. Yeah, that's pretty exciting. This is a Cephalotus Hummer's Giant. Started as a stem division. Got this from the same friend as the Heliamphora and the Flava. Nepenthes flava. That's what it's called. Doing great. 6/5/23. Pretty recent also. Honestly, hasn't done much since I got it. Maybe a couple little leaves. But it's maintaining, and that's all that I ask for. I have no idea what this Nepenthes cross is. When I bought this plant, the dude liked me, I guess, so he sent me this for free. It was little teeny tiny when I got it, and I just like shoved it in this cup, and it is killing it. Totally killing it, and I actually really like this plant, so I'm going to try really hard to grow this out. I'll get him some water here in a minute. Obviously, he needs it. Another minor division. Man, everything is so dry in here right now. This was a beautiful cephalotus bubble giant. And everything that's green is new, so it's coming back. And you can see how massive of pictures it's capable of producing. The guy divided it literally and then shipped it to me bare root. So it's had a rough life, but it's bouncing back. These three came from another fellow, and they are amazing. I mean, they really are just amazing. This is a Hummer's Giant. You know, Hummer's Giant here, Hummer's Giant here. It's crazy. This is dark purple. This is light green. I don't know why, but gosh dang, these pictures are sweet. And when I got it, you can see it was significantly smaller. So it is loving how I grow it, apparently. Cannot remember what type this is. If this one is purple-black, this stuff is supposed to be prolific and not grow as massive of pitchers. It'll occasionally throw off a giant pitcher like this. Nothing like a bubble giant, but it'll do a Hummer's Giant pitcher occasionally. But this stuff is just supposed to grow mad, if I'm remembering correctly. And I can't remember. I really need to get a tag on this. I have the guy's messages, so I can figure it out. But this is a pretty cool version also. I think I got this one primarily for the way that this one stays green with some purple in it, and it keeps that dark purple to the look to it. And I ought to take a video of my plants at work because I have some pretty impressive Heliamphora at work also, but I love my little Heliamphora collection. This guy is starting to bounce back, which is pretty exciting. This is an OG plant also. This plant, that plant, and this plant all grew down here when I had a shelf on the wall out there, an open space. And this one has been double this size twice and cut back. This one is just, you know, slowly growing up. This one just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I bought this plant, I am not joking you, at a local place in Springfield, Missouri when I still lived there. And it was honestly about the size of this Hamata. That was 7 or 8 years ago now. And I mean, Ventricosa is such an overlooked plant. It really is. It's crazy because like I get these dark orange pictures like this, which is super cool. I haven't seen this. This was not here 2 weeks ago. And then they'll turn a lighter yellow color, which is almost like a Ventricosa porcelain. So it's finally throwing a basil out for me. This plant that you're seeing is actually, I wouldn't call it a basil, but it's an offshoot of the original plant. It came off the vine just slightly under the soil. And I know that this is what this is doing. It's just coming from the vine that's under the soil, but it grows its own roots, so technically it's a basil. But yeah, it's killing it. I got some stuff trying to grow. Oh, it's because it's growing on the sap. Very interesting. So that is mold trying to grow on the sap of the leaves, which tells me I need to re-aim my fans. Yep. That is correct. This was pointed the wrong way. It's supposed to be pointed like this. Amazing how quick that stuff can happen. Let's keep moving along. This is the mother plant of the Heliamphora minor, and it is killer. I love it. Love these little guys. Cannot remember. I know you're Ovada something. Marilliniana Aristiolides. I was wrong. Wow. So Aristiolides, you can see that humpback look in the picture. Same as this guy, Aristiolides. Okay? But Marilliniana is, I'm sure I'm horribly mispronouncing most of these names you're hearing in this video. Marilliniana. I don't know. That's what we're going to call it. Marilliniana has the cool pattern. It's got a little bit of the Mariliana shape from the front here. But the side profile is very Aristeolides. Mariliana is known to get pretty big, just like the Ovata that is mixed in with this Rob Cantley is known to do. So that'll be pretty cool to see what this plant does. I love its growth habit. It's very compact, very organized leaf production, and no matter, there's nothing tugging on this plant, and it is actively choosing to grow its vines sideways, which is pretty cool. So that means it's going to be kind of like a scrambling plant. It wants to grow along the surface and have pitchers next to the leaves as it grows along the ground. So that's pretty cool. These are small but mighty, and they're probably going to be making gamma soon, hopefully. These are Drosera, gosh darn it, pygmy sundews. Hey, not necessary. The pygmy sundews are pretty cool. I dig them. I like how small they are, and they're mighty. They're beautiful little plants. I mean, look at that. Super cool organization. They grow up like little palm trees and leave like a brown stem behind, so these are doing good. Hopefully I get some gamma soon. I want to grow a whole tray of them. I love them. You're doing pretty good, actually. So since I got this plant, all these leaves came with it, and it made these 2 giant leaves, and it hasn't done much since. And I don't know if it's because of the nighttime temperatures, so maybe this needs to come out since they're cool and lower humidity and just be outside of the greenhouse. But this plant is the, Drosera multi-fork sundew. Multi-something. It's Drosera dichroma multi-something. But it's known for this forked leaf, and when it gets bigger, a single leaf stem will produce 10, 12, 14, sometimes even 16 forks off of one leaf, and it becomes a huge bush. So this is going to be a monster if I'll start babying it better than I have been. Everybody knows Drosera capensis. That's a pretty good example of a Drosera capensis. You can see the nice, long, staggered leaves with the sundew hanging off everywhere, and it's got a beautiful flower stalk coming up in the center. It gets to 50 degrees in here every single night, and this thing kills it. I mean, it loves it in here. And unfortunately, I think that's all the plants that I have in here right now. I think I skipped maybe one, like this guy. This one's pretty impressive too. It's just Aristeolides ventricosa. But what's interesting about this is Aristeolides ventricosa, but so is this. And this came from mother plant. So this Aristeolides ventricosa BE style grows like that, which is pretty cool. I dig this a lot. But when I saw this other one going for sale, I had to grab it because it takes more after Aristeolides. You can see that humpback pitcher shape. And they're flimsy pitchers, but some of them get this really cool yellow in them too. Yeah, so that's a pretty cool plant too. Alright, am I forgetting anything? Anybody want to speak up? Nope. There's more to come. I haven't bought anything in a while. It's been a little colder across the country, so shipping's not as great, but I always keep my eye open for anything major. I've kind of slowed down because I got a lot of the basic stuff I want. I want a little bit more. I want some more of like name brand. Not really name brand, but more of like the stuff that everybody wants but can't have because they don't have this greenhouse with air conditioning and heating and climate control that's 24/7 and misting and stuff. So, I would love to get a normal Edwardsiana that's not a hybrid with Hamata. I would like to get like a Ephiata, which is kind of like a Loey, but they're a little faster growing. There's a lot of like the little Nepenthes villosa. That's one that I really want. They're slow growing. They're super expensive when they're small, but gosh, are they worth it. if you can grow them. And obviously this setup can grow just about anything you want. If you can grow one of these guys, you can grow just about anything you want. So, you know, I'm pretty excited to have this stuff in here. It's fun to come down every week and check out the plants and water them. But yeah, I mean, that's basically it. RO tank's holding up good. I leave the fans on all the time except for when I'm watering. That's why they're off. This bucket's just for clippings and stuff. The drainage system works great. The air conditioning works great still. We're 6-9 months into having this constructed. It's doing great. The lights are holding up pretty good. I've got one strip that's throwing a fit right here. You can see the spots where it's dead, but all the other ones are good. It's just that one strip. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe I didn't have enough cooling on the aluminum up here. Maybe I didn't glue it well enough. I don't know. It's hard to tell. But they're cheap. You can get those strips. Each strip is like $2.50. You just have to build the rest of your own light. You're good to go. So, yeah. I think that's all that I've really got to talk about in here. The greenhouse itself, this is a palram Canopia. Canopia greenhouse. If you haven't seen my last video, but I built this wood structure for it, and a lot of people were worried that it was going to get moldy and rot and fall apart, yada yada. And I'm sure, like, if you don't maintain it, it eventually will. But the cool thing about this is it's disassemblable. So when I go to move in a couple of years, I can disassemble this whole thing and easily move it from house to house. But because it's disassemblable, I can also take this all out and stain it. Honestly, what I'll probably do, realistically, is I'll just take all the plants out for a day, use the opportunity to clean up this, add a shelf or two, and then while I'm at it, I'll just come in here with some stain and some gloss stuff for the stain and recoat all the wood again everywhere. You know, vent it outside that door right there that goes outside and let it set for a day or two, and then cram all the plants back in. The only downside to that is you're going to miss 2 days of night temp drops, which can be a problem for some of your more, problematic species. So maybe I have to cram them all back in here the same day and just have some good ventilation. It does have this roof vent here that I can open up and put a fan in and just let the AC work all night. But yeah, anywho, if anybody wants to see or know about anything else, that's cool. If you're into motors and stuff, I'm probably going to start filming my newest build of a vehicle that I'm doing. But anywho, enjoy.